All right, we are here to talk about um, Marriage Boot Camp Reality Edition, Family Edition. It shows Marriage Boot Camp, but they have the families on here, and they're all reality show people. So this is episode 2. So episode 2 starts off where episode 1 left off, with everybody going to their room and Amber flipping out per usual. Um, and they get her to calm down and all that good stuff. But like I said, I kind of agree with where she was coming from as far as like everybody in that room is a recovering addict. Why do you have pills and um, even though they're fake, but still, why do you have pills? Why do you have bottles, liquor bottles, and cigarettes and stuff? Like I didn't get that. I didn't understand. But again, I don't have a PH or a D behind my name, so. But Dr. V tried to flip it back after she was like, see? And what did you do with all of that stimulus? And she's like, I threw it away. She was like, exactly. See, you did the right thing. See, that's bullshit. That was just a bad decision. And I feel like now, to quote James Caldwell, who's one of my favorite YouTubers, you're backpedaling pussy popping right now. But anyway, so then, they go to bed, everything. So the next day they wake up and they are getting ready to do their first exercise of the day. And so there's a little breakfast conversation where Chrissy and Renee, because like I remember I told you, they're already friends. Outside of this, before this, they've been friends for a long time. And they're talking about Amber. And I'm going to tell you, one thing I've loved about Chrissy and about Renee, they stand in their shit. You understand what I'm saying? They don't. You know where you stand. You might not like where you stand, but you know where you stand with both of them. And so Amber walks in the room, and Amber was like, "Oh, should I not be here?" And Renee was like, "Nah, we were talking about you, and let me tell you what we said." And she said it nicely, but she told them exactly what they were saying, and was like, "Look, you can't. Your room is the room of a child because you're immature." And you're gonna have to figure out a way to get yourself together and calm yourself down, because you can't flip out. Now, coming from Renee, that's funny, but it's valid. You can't flip out every time something doesn't go your way. Like, that's just not how we gonna roll. And Chrissy was like, yeah, I can't work with you like that. Like, I can't rock like that. And so they kind of came to like a little bit of agreement. And Chrissy was like, I kind of like this Amber, the calm down, chill Amber. So they sort of made some sort of common ground there. And they go out for their first exercise of the day. And the first exercise of the day is the Zen room. So the Zen room is where they can go into the room. Well, they will. That's part of the exercise. Go into the room, say whatever you want to say. Get it off your chest. Nobody's going to hear you. You just kind of getting everything out. Things that you wish you could say, but you don't want to say it. You don't have to worry about how you saying it, whose feelings you're going to hurt. Now, I ain't trust this exercise from the beginning, because I remember on last season when they had them write those letters. I don't know if y'all saw last season or not. They had them write, these couples write these letters, and we're like, oh, no one's ever going to see them. Just get it all out. Just write the letter to your significant other. And then they showed those mofos the letter. Like, I had a problem with that. So I kind of already was a little nervous about this exercise, because I was like, see, I just feel like you're recording it and you're going to throw it back whenever you're ready to throw that shit back. So Renee and her sisters go. No, who went first? I don't remember. Doesn't matter. Renee and her sisters go. And when Renee and her sisters go, Renee talks about how her sister, something we hadn't heard this before, but how when her sister got arrested, she used Renee as basically her get out of jail free card. Her lawyer argued that there was nobody to take care of the kids, because that's when Renee's parents were going through their legal issues, and she was saying that and the other sister was away at college, and Renee, she told the judge, was mentally unstable. And Renee was pissed off about it. She was like, how dare you use me as your scapegoat? How dare you tell the judge that I am mentally unstable? Like, I had my own family that could have affected. Renee has a son. And so she's going off, whatever. And then the other sister, when she went in there, she was talking about how she's not a liar and how she wished that they would just stop calling her a liar. The third sister was talking about how she's just tired of Renee and her just being extra and just the drama, and she just can't deal with it. Brandy and her husband, father. Brandy and her father. Brandy went in and she I don't know what, y'all, I'm sorry, brain fart. She was saying how when they were growing, she was like, he's got everybody in his house food. He's playing the nice little old man, and everybody thinks he's so cute and sweet. She was like, but I remember growing up with him, and she was like, and I really think that my dad was the neighborhood drug dealer. I was like, what the fuck? Like, again, I get it that this is something that you don't think he gonna hear, but the TV gonna hear it like you on a fucking reality show. And I'm not even talking about like from a legal point of view. I'm just saying like, why would you put your dad out there like that? I don't know. Maybe that's just my code. I don't know. And so when he went in the booth, he started talking about how the tabloids said this, that, and the other about her. And you get the impression that he believed what the tabloid said. And he even said, the tabloid said that my daughter was an escort. The tabloid said this. And so he's upset with his daughter about things that he's reading and he said tabloid, like he didn't even say like the newspaper. He's a tabloid by definition is a rag. Like, why would you believe it? Why would you be like the only part of that story that was true was probably that his daughter was seen with people from this band. Like supposedly she was an escort for some rock band. She was probably with that rock band, and that's probably all that the story got right. The rest of that about her being an escort and stuff, like, why would that automatically be what you believe? And he didn't even say, well, my daughter admitted it. He said the tabloids. That's going to come back later. So then Amber and, just Amber and her family. Amber, I don't know, she was going off. Like, she was just in there just going off about, how the guy beats her and he steals her money, and talking about her mom, the mom stole her money when she was in jail, and, just all kinds of stuff like that. So, again, I say, why the hell are you with this dude? And as far as the situation with your mom, well, that's something that y'all need to be there to work out. But this dude, he can be taken out of the equation altogether, like, done, wrapped in. Then the Joneses, y'all know that's my peeps right there. Jim goes in and was like, I don't need this. I ain't got nothing to get off my chest. I don't even know why I'm here. That's pretty much his attitude about this whole situation. Mama goes in, and Mama's talking about how she just don't like the way that, Chrissy don't really interact with the family like she wants them to, and that, Chrissy just is standoffish, and, the same old shit that you've heard her say before. So Chrissy goes in there, and she's the same thing about the mom and, how they can't get along and how the mom doesn't respect her. And then she sort of takes a pause, and you see that she's kind of like processing and getting her thoughts together. And she actually breaks down and starts crying. And she said, I have never fought for anything as much as I have fought for him. And I think she said this, so I'm assuming she's talking about him and the whole relationship piece of it. She said that there's some things that were going on between him and his mom before she even came into the picture. And how she knows for a fact that their life is better since she's been there. And I didn't even take that as an arrogant thing she was trying to say. I didn't take it as she was trying to be like, and I'm the shit. I took it as she was just saying, I helped them work on whatever issues they had, and I helped them process, and I helped elevate the whole situation. She said, and I should not have to beg for that recognition from them. And so that's kind of where that ended. They go back in the house. Now, here's where. So Renee and her sister, I rewound the shit twice because I was like, when did this break down? When did this happen? And I don't know when it happened. I don't know when it broke down. But somehow I don't know if Renee had a sixth sense about what, I don't know, but Renee, I don't know if it just brought it all up to the surface or whatever, but anyway, Renee blows up at her sister, and the whole story about the sister lying to the judge comes up, and the third sister was like, look, this is what happened. My sister got arrested, she was trying to get out of it, her lawyer cooked up this thing, her and her lawyer got together to basically say she can't go to jail because there's nobody here to take care of the kids, and they had to come up with a reason why Renee couldn't take care of the kids, and that's what they came up with. Renee was mentally unstable. So, but here's the piece. So Renee's going off. Renee is being Renee, and she is just going off, yelling, chasing her sister down. And the sister's trying to go in the room and hide. Renee won't let her go away. Like, it was just a mess. You get to the bottom of it, and Renee was like, that's when I was addicted to drugs. Well, then, bitch, you was mentally unstable. Drug addicts are mentally unstable. So what the fuck are you mad about? Like, you went through all of this because you trying to make a distinction without a difference. I would have if I would get ready to go to jail, you wouldn't be somebody I would leave my kids with either. You have a drug addiction. That, eh. The other thing Renee was upset about, because Renee was like, this is the sister that got me high for the first time, and she seems to be the most insensitive to the fact that I had a drug problem. And the sister was like, look, I'm just not educated about these things because I don't understand addiction. And I guess because she's probably she's probably somebody that can smoke weed, get up, go to work, and it not be an issue. And she's probably never had it. She was probably never addicted to it. It was probably something that she did that she enjoyed doing, but she could take it or leave it. Whereas with Renee, it evolved into a full-blown addiction. And Renee was addicted to pills. And so her sister was just like, I just don't understand addiction. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be insensitive. I just don't get it. And so they put that down. That was diffused, what have you. Before they could get that shit diffused real good, here go Amber. And I feel like Amber was like, oh, they're not paying enough attention to me, so let me start some shit. Because Amber is a mess, and she's very immature, and she's got to have attention, and it's got to be about her. And when shit gets quiet, then here she come throwing a tantrum. So Amber starts throwing a tantrum with the boyfriend and the mom, and they're going at it. And Amber is talking about how he beats her and how he's abusive, and you know he's like, what are you talking about? He was like, who got arrested for assault? Like, that was you. Like, for no, battery. She was like, that was you. I didn't get arrested for battery, you did. And she was like, but you beat me. And she's going off. She is going off. So Dr. Ish and Dr. V, they're observing this, and they're like, okay, why is the mother not jumping in? Like, why is the mother allowing this to go on and allowing the argument to escalate the way it's escalating? Because to Matt, that's the asshole's name, to Matt's credit, he really didn't jump to the bait. And I'm not saying he's not abusive. I don't live in their house. I don't know if that man hits her or not. But I know in that situation, she looked like the abuser, not him. I mean, she was in his face. She was yelling at the top of her lungs. She was berating him, calling him all kinds of names and stuff. To me, that's abusive. And I'm not saying that he doesn't abuse her, and I'm not saying that they don't give it back and forth. But in that situation, that was her. So Dr. V and Dr. Ish are talking about how Jim isn't really getting into it, and he's not really participating in the drills to the full extent, and it's a problem, and they're trying to figure out how can we get him out of that? How can we push him to take this seriously? You know how they do the whole drama. They have this drama conversation, and Dr. V is so dramaful in how she talks about shit. And so they come up with this plan. So they have this second exercise, and basically they blindfold the participants. They're taking them into like this little tank area. They tie their shoes down, and they say, look, you have 10 seconds to tell somebody what you said in the booth and be honest. Tell them one thing you said in the booth and be honest, or we're going to unleash. And in the middle of the tank where they're standing is a big ass box full of snakes, like all kinds of snakes, all colors, shapes, sizes, whatever. I'm not a snake expert. I would assume that none of them are poisonous. Like, it is still a TV show. Like, come on. But I don't really give a fuck whether they're poisonous or not. They're snakes. I don't fuck with snakes. Hell to the gnaw. Like, the minute... Well, let me get to that. So, the first group they bring in is the Grazianos. And they pass with flying colors. Like, I think... I forgot who said what, but they were honest. They have Judge Toller from Divorce Court. She had listened to all of the tapes. I told you they was taping that shit. So they had taped everything people said, and she had listened to all of the tapes, and she was like the judge to verify whether they were actually being truthful or not. That's something that they said in the box. So they passed, but they didn't let them go back out. They kept them because obviously if they go back out, they're going to tell the rest of the group what's going on. So the next people they bring in are Brandy and her dad. So with Brandy and her dad, I don't remember if Brandy, I didn't hear what Brandy said, but what her dad said, because they almost, the tank almost opened up, and Brandy was like, she said, I've never seen my dad afraid of anything, but the one thing I know he's afraid of is snakes. And so they had 10 seconds, and you saw it counting down, and they were actually getting ready to open up the tank. And then her father finally said, okay, well, I said that I was embarrassed of the fact that you were an escort. And Brandy was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I was never an escort. And he was like, yeah, you told me you used to escort rock bands back in New York. And she was like, I never told you that. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You told me. So they're arguing over whether she actually said it or not. Well, I didn't see the part where they corrected him, because what he said in the box was he read it in the tabloids. He never said that, unless they edited that piece. He never said that Brandy told him she was an escort. He said he read it in the tabloids. And I remember, because when he said it, I was like, why the fuck would you believe the tabloids? Anyway, so they cleared it up, and then they let them go sit down. And Brandy was just like, some things you just can't say sorry for. Like, that shit hurts. Like, number one, the fact that you even would think that low of me, that you would believe that. Like, you read it and you believed it. Like, some things you just can't apologize for, or at least I can't get over it that quickly. And I get that, because that's some bullshit. My dad ever believe some shit like that about me. My dad still think I'm a virgin, so, or at least that's the version of the story I choose to believe. So the last group to go in, no, next is Amber, and that turns into a big ass mess too, where they get into the abusive piece. And the boyfriend actually shuts down. He's like, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to sit here and defend myself. I'm not engaging in this conversation about me being an abuser. I'm not an abuser. I didn't beat you up. I didn't abuse you. So they let Amber and her mom out the box, but they kept him in, and they actually unleashed the damn snakes. And so they let the snakes crawl up on him for a minute, and then they diffused it and got him to kind of talk a little bit or whatever. And then, so he can't see. Nope. Hell to the. So the Joneses come through. Let me tell y'all something. The minute Jim took his blindfold off and saw those snakes, he was like, nope. He undid his shoes and he jumped about that fucking box. And guess who was right behind him? His mama. She was like, nope, I don't play that game. Now, Jim actually stayed in the room. His mama left the room and was like, I'm leaving. I'm getting up out of this piece tomorrow. I ain't signing up for this shit. I don't play those games. I don't mess with no snakes. Hell nah. She was gone. Like, she was up in her room, gone, upstairs. Chrissy actually stayed. But, they let her out and they were like, Jim, you did her a disservice because you did not allow her to get what she needed. She could have possibly gotten something from this exercise. Because remember, the whole purpose of the exercise was to try to get Jim out the box. Which, they got him out the box, alright. His ass jumped out that damn box. And so, Chrissy starts crying, and he's like, what's the problem? Because he's like really not understanding. Like, he really feels like the problem is not him. He really feels like it's just between him and his mom, and he's just there, I guess, to be a mediator. He really doesn't feel like he needs to participate in this. So they play back a piece of what Chrissy said. See, again, like I said, I knew that box shit was a setup. So they didn't play all of it. They just played the snippet where she said, I've never fought for anything as hard as I fought for this. And, I shouldn't have to fight to be recognized. Like, that's that part. And, of course, she's crying and everything. And Jim actually kind of I feel like he has like a little bit of a breakthrough where he's like, you know what? Because he had actually kind of gone off on the doctors at one point. So he apologized. He said, I know I'm not always the easiest person to get along with. He was like, and I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry. And so they go on upstairs or what have you. And Chrissy's still pissed. She's like, I'm here for a reason. Like, I'm taking this seriously. And I feel like neither one of y'all are. And they're talking in the bathroom, and his mom comes in and kind of overhears part of the conversation. And they are talking about her, but it's not, again, I don't think it's anything she ain't heard before. She don't know. But, Chrissy is just like, look, we're here for a reason. And we got to figure this out. And I'm here to try to get some help. Now, I don't know how many times they're going to beat this horse, because I remember they went to therapy before, but I'm not going to go down that road. And clearly it did not work. So that's kind of where the episode ends. Judge Toller comes in and, oh no, I'm sorry, rewind. Judge Toller had come in before the snake piece, and she, did her little spiel where she's like, I'm here to help you out, and at the end of the day, I'm going to review the tapes. I'm watching everything. I'm the eye in the sky, and I'll either decide whether you should be rewarded or punished. That whole little spiel that if you've ever looked at it before, that's what her thing. That's her thing. She's sort of the judge. I mean, at the end of the day, she's the judge, and Renee's familiar because, Renee did it with her boyfriend a few seasons back. So she was like, yeah, I know all about these punishments and rewards. And so that's kind of where it ended. It's ending with a little bit of a you see where a build up to another fight is happening with Amber and Matt. And Renee kind of goes in there to defend her because Renee is like, I don't have any respect for a man who beats women. And he was like, I don't beat her. And she was like, so you're lying? You calling her a liar? And Renee's being Renee, and she's yelling, and she's like, you are the scum of the earth. You are beaten. He said, now what if you find out that it's a lie? And he said it's so calm. He was like, what if you find out it's a lie? Like, you're going off on me and cussing me out, but what if you find out it's not true? And so you're calling her a liar? You're calling her a liar? And he's sitting there on his phone, and he's like, he's like, I'm not doing this. He's back on his phone, playing on his phone. And she was like, you owe me the respect to look at me and not be playing on your phone. And he's looking at her like, why? Why do I owe you that respect? So that's kind of where it ends, and I feel like that's going to be another, like, that's what the next week is going to pick up with that fight, like, escalating. So that's where we are. I don't think anybody's made any breakthroughs yet. As a matter of fact, I think most people are worse off. Matt can go. Again, Amber's talking about how he's a drug addict, he steals her money, he beats her, he cheats on her, he lies to her. But then it was, there was a whole scene where she breaks down, she's crying, but I love him, oh, I love him. Bitch, please, get rid of that. Just get rid of his ass. And deal with the relationship between you and your mom, because that's what's important. His ass can go. Especially if he's beating you, what do you want from him? What is it that you want? Whew. Anyway, this was long-winded. Didn't mean to talk this long, but there's that, and I will see y'all next time. We're getting some subscribers and some followers. I'm excited.